Hey everybody, welcome to Press Pause, the video game discussion show. I'm Carl Sodella.
I am your beautiful co-host.
What? That came out of nowhere, and I don't agree. I mean, I can't agree.
Well, you don't agree?
I can't.
Rude.
Anyways, welcome to the show. Today we're going to talk about two XBLA titles. And by the way, we're going to talk about PSN sometime soon. Sorry.
No, well,
Dungeon Defenders is both.
I'm not sure about World Worlds.
But World Worlds is not. Dungeon Defenders
is also on Steam.
Okay, there you go.
Steam as well.
But we will talk about some PSN exclusive downloadable titles soon, because we have not been doing that. I'm sorry. Let's start off, though, with War of the Worlds, which is 800 Microsoft points. Other Ocean? Is that the developer? That's what I looked it up. It said Other Ocean Pro Cloud.
What do you think?
I don't want to go first. I want to love this game, okay? I'll say the pros. The pros are, it looks cool, really cool black and white, a lot of fun stuff with the foreground and the background. You see all those huge monsters in the back, or huge aliens in the background. Feels really foreboding, like something's actually happening and you're part of this thing that's going on, aliens taking over. And the foreground stuff is fun. You see little people running by you, and that looks really cool. And it reminds me of a little bit like Limbo, where you have that kind of foggy, out of focus graphics and stuff. The playability is old school, and I know they wanted to do that. It's Prince of Persia, esque.
Flashback out of this world.
Flashback out of this world.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, really old school. Like, the animations and there's not going to be any sort of, like, if you try to get to that car, it won't, the animation will break it or whatever. So, that being said, I liked the environments, and I liked where it's going with the puzzles and stuff. But, man, it is frustrating. Real bad. Real bad.
Yeah, I hate it.
Okay. Well, at least I set up the whole thing with a bunch of good stuff first.
I agree with you on all the good stuff, right? It has, like if you're describing it to someone, it's a little bit Limbo, a little bit Out of This World / Flashback,
yep.
A little bit Bastion even, with Patrick Stewart doing a narration.
Oh, well, the narration.
Really good, right?
Yeah.
And so the presentation's beautiful. It's like, it's really neat to look at. It's like kind of fun game to watch. It's really exciting, and like you said, there's the 3 layers, background, foreground, and the main playing field.
Parallax scrolling, remember that?
Yeah. And it's
all right, we're old.
It's really cool looking, right? It's just the vibe that you get. It's like, it's panicky. There's devastation everywhere.
People are dying left and right.
And it's very classic. Like you have people screaming and running around in streets. There's a lot of stuff going on. Unlike Limbo, is a very simplistic minimalist game. Mm-hmm. But I hated it. It was frustrating. It was so like everything, sound design, graphics, everything's great except the gameplay. It's all. First of all, the controls are very terrible because you have this like old school, like it's like animated like the original Prince of Persia.
That's what I was saying, the original Prince of Persia.
Not the 3D.
Yeah, you
Xbox.
kids don't know what we're talking about. Maybe. Yeah. I'll show a video of it right now. Okay. That's what we're talking about.
Yeah,
old
not
school.
Xbox generation Prince of Persia.
Yeah,
So it's like if you're on a skinny platform, it's like creeping your guy up to line him up just right so you can run and make the proper jump.
Yeah.
But more than that, so that I could deal with. The difficulty I could deal with because a lot of games are too easy today. Yeah. Right? So it's cool for.
I know you're going with this, and I'm going to agree with you.
But it's not a challenge. It's not hard difficulty in terms of a challenge. It's a trial and error difficulty where you will die because you don't know what to expect, and you have to learn. You have to learn from how you died and repeat that over and over.
Almost like, and this is a terrible comparison, but Demon Souls or something where like you die a lot because you need to figure out how to do it. But it's worse because this feels broken at times. It's like, oh well, why was I standing there and I still got shot with that laser? Like, why is this rock? Remember the laser? There's a green laser in it, like that just wipes out people. Mm-hmm. And if you stand behind one rock, you're totally fine, and another rock, you're totally dead. And you're like, what? That's broken. So yeah, it's trial and error, but mixed with frustrating, like. They're not even going to call them puzzles. They're really just like frustrating moments. Mm-hmm. And you're like, gosh damn it, that should have worked. And then the other thing that's frustrating is that Patrick Stewart's great, but not when you hear him 20,000 times.
Yes.
Oh my goodness, I went back, he's like, the streets were filled with rubble. The streets were filled with rubble. Oh, Patrick,
because
I know Patrick.
You kept dying.
You kept dying.
Right. And
so it plays over that audio thing.
You cannot help it. It's not that you're not.
I was almost looking to shut off the audio just for like, it's a little while.
Yeah.
So, man.
And you don't feel rewarded when you finally accomplish it. You just feel like, all right, I've figured out what the hell you want from me, game. It's like, you want me to hide in this little spot, not this spot, or I have to learn this pattern.
Yeah, you didn't feel like, oh, look, check out what I did. I got away from these aliens. There's a cool tumble roll thing. I tumbled away from this, whatever coming up out of the ground, and it exploded, and I did all this cool stuff, and now I feel good that I got to the end. I don't think, as I continue the game, although I put it down, I would feel that later on. I'd feel like, oh yeah, I just did what you wanted me to do. Exactly how you wanted me to do it.
I say people should try out the demo just to check out the visuals.
Yeah.
It's very, very cool looking.
Yeah.
Right. Check it out just to get the vibe, but you're not going to want to pay money for this thing.
I don't think they're going to be able to.
Frustrating.
I don't think they're going to be able to patch it either. Like, you know, I'm like, well, maybe they'll put some sort of patch.
No, it's game fundamental.
Fundamental,
game
but okay, here's one thing that is a con, but could also be a pro if they do it with a patch. Then they can do this. Is that the checkpoint system isn't good enough. At times it seems like it's great. Oh, they just put me right where I was. But sometimes when it's a very long ass stretch, you know, and then you went all the way back to the beginning. So if they can tighten that up a little bit. So guys, listen to me, please. Just tighten that up a little bit, and then maybe I'll give it more of a chance, because I know he won't, but
no.
I would give it a little more chance if I just had to not have to hear Patrick Stewart a million times, and you know, I had a little more of that.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. But man, it looks cool. It looks cool. It looks cool.
It's disappointing. Very disappointing.
Let's go on to the next one. Oh, we didn't say get it, forget it, or meh.
Is there something worse than forget it?
Is it worse than forget it? I hope they're not watching.
I was
now.
really angry. I was really angry with this
I
game.
know.
I was like, I was swearing at it. I was just like, but it's just stupid.
There's there's a review somewhere that came in and said something like, "This wipes Limbo's ass" or something. Well, that doesn't make any sense.
Like it
like destroys Limbo, and I'm like, oh no,
no way,
no.
That's the most ridiculous statement.
And
really?
they're both different types of games. So
No.
I wanted to like it. I'm going to stick with a meh. Because if you can fix the checkpoint system, I'd love to see the ending of the game and see where that world goes and hear Patrick Stewart's story. But I get it with the forget it thing.
Yeah.
Okay, let's take a break, and when we come back, we'll talk about dungeons. I'm sorry, you're like, yeah. I think I just played that over and over again and did slow motion. We'll talk about Dungeon Defenders when we come back. You know what's just as cool as video games? Savings!
Angie's List has helped over 1 million people find their next plumber, contractor, dentist, and more, with reviews from real customers. If you want to join, just head to angieslist.com/pause and you'll save 25% off your subscription.
What are you waiting for? Save some money! Hey everybody, welcome back to the show. Now we're going to talk about another XBLA game. Well, also, as the chat room mentioned, it's on everywhere. Steam, you're saying.
Steam.
PSN.
360.
Phones. Is it on phones? I think it might be on Android.
Yeah, actually, I think it is on iOS as well.
Anyways, it's everywhere, and I didn't understand in the beginning. You told me about this game. I had heard about it before, of course, but I just kind of like put it aside, and then it showed up in XBLA in the arcade section. I was like, oh, maybe I will give this a try. And I tried the demo and was kind of immediately turned off for some reason. Like I just didn't
The visuals?
get it. Well, the visuals also, it was really, you know, colorfully fun and stuff. And then the idea of running around to these, you know, it's like Trenched in the fact that it's a tower defense game, but you're also there to attack.
What's Trenched?
Oh, right. I'm sorry. What's it called again?
Iron Brigade?
Iron Brigade. That's what I meant.
No, I call it Trenched too.
No, so it's like that kind of style of game, and I can get into that. But this one felt, you know, a little too kiddie and also just like a little cumbersome. But then I really didn't give it a chance. And then you were like, hey, let's talk about it on the show. So I went back into it, and I see the light.
It's kind of the opposite of World of Worlds, right? Because it's like cool visuals, bad gameplay versus this, bad visuals, great gameplay.
Oh, interesting.
Right?
And we didn't even plan that. We're geniuses.
I see what you mean, because I'm like, I kind of turn on, the graphics are kind of gaudy. It's like, the colors are too many primary colors, all in your face and bright, really kiddie style. Even though the game itself's not that kiddie, just the story is a little.
Well, you are little kids.
You are little kids.
Yeah, so that
story
helps the kiddie part.
Yeah, which kind of might be a turnoff for some gamers, but it's a really hardcore game.
Yeah, it is.
It's coming out at a weird time, like right in the middle, like Uncharted 3 and Batman and Skyrim and all these games, and Orcs Must Die, which is like a similar hybrid tower defense.
It's very
action
similar,
game.
actually.
Yeah, and then that just came out recently. It's supposed to be pretty good.
Yeah, but the deciding factor between all that stuff, even the big name games, is you can always play this, even if you're playing Skyrim. I can put Skyrim down and be like, I gotta get back and figure out my tavern and see what's going on with it. You know what I mean? Like, I can see that. Well, real quick, let me say something. Soon, we're gonna talk either on the website or in the show, probably next week a little bit, about the PSP, PS Vita, PSV, what the hell? PS Vita, and we saw a bunch of early games with that. We're going to talk about that really soon. But one of the games was Ruin. And Ruin reminds me about this idea of like, it's a dungeon crawler and you're doing all these kind of it's not full on dungeon crawler, but it's the idea of having a base, a home base, and you kind of get your trophies and stuff like that in there. So I thought of Ruin when I was playing this game.
What do you like better?
I like this better though. It's just the way that the upgrades work, and then it's just so addictive.
Yeah. So the idea is you have 4 different characters, and they're very different. That's one cool thing about this game.
So who are you playing as?
When I originally reviewed it for EGM, I played as the wizard, the one for beginner players, right? Yeah. So the wizard has a staff that does like a radial attack, or you could shoot things, fireballs from it, and you plant traditional towers, right? There's like fireball tower, lightning tower, little walls and stuff like that. And then there's there's a girl that sets traps.
Huntress.
Huntress, and she does more ranged attacks. There's a knight that's all melee only.
That's who I was.
But he has really cool, powerful barricades and things like that. Like that could like slice people up, or spiked walls and things like that. And right now, my second time through, I'm playing as a monk.
The monk. Well, I wanted to, but then it said expert. I'm like, I better not quite yet.
He has some mainly melee, some ranged. He does these aura things that you could stack. So I could make an aura where if the enemies pass through it, they slow down. I can stack it with an electrified ball, or where they're weakened, or where they even attack each other.
So he's a mystical monk.
Yeah. So
really cool.
It's cool. So there's like waves of monsters coming and trying to attack your crystal, and you're trying to defend it. But where this game gets really good is co-op. Like we need to play co-op.
We need to do it, yeah.
Because if you have different characters, like I'm playing with my girlfriend right now. She's the wizard. I'm the monk.
I am the knight. I'm the squire. I'll come in
that's perfect.
Yeah.
So you could complement each other. So now if you don't have co-op players, this is what I really liked about this game. If you play single player, you could go in, play one character, swap out during the build phase before the monsters start.
Yeah.
Swap out, put in your second character, put in some stuff.
When I went to that, there's a little area in the game where it says like swap out character. I'm like, I only had one. I'm like, what? Swap it out with who? Oh, I can make another one.
You could create all 4 character classes if you want.
Yeah.
Build them all up independently.
Yep.
And so later levels, you kind of need that cooperation. So if you're not doing it cooperatively with your friends, you do it cooperatively with yourself to say like, okay, well, I need the knights spiked barricades, but I need the monks slow down aura, and I need the wizard's mana bomb. And it's really strategic because you start laying down these different complementary towers of traps, and then you just set it all up for the monsters to walk in.
It reminds me of Lord of the Rings a little bit with the War of the North, with that complementary co-op kind of stuff.
Right.
So,
which, by the way, I have to say for the record, you're more right on that than I was. The more I played of it, the better.
Thank you. Yeah. You know what? It feels so good when you say that.
Yeah.
Can you say it again?
For the first time ever, and
no,
maybe the only time
that
ever,
you tainted it.
You were correct.
You tainted it.
So.
I'm correct more than once. So yeah, I'm really addicted to even the one-player thing, just because again, it's too colorful, and I don't like the idea that I'm a kid or whatever. But you get past that, and you just like to think about the strategy and the fact that I was up till like 2 in the morning because I needed to.
Last night?
Yeah, I was like, I have to just get to this next thing. And then we should mention there's these challenges too. So it's not just there's a quest, campaign mode, then there's these challenges, and like, do this without building any towers, like defeat all the enemies without building any towers.
Or protect your ogre friend or something.
Which was hard, by the way. I tried when I failed, but at least I enjoyed doing that.
There's actually a lot of game in there. There's like a lot of hours you put in there. Like each level has multiple stages, and each level has multiple challenge variations, like you said. And then there's a whole looting system. Like you could find weapon drops, and you build up and level up your guy. You get better equipment and better gear. You could eventually buy pets from the tavern.
Yeah.
It's really deep.
It almost, when you say it like that, when I'm looking at the menus and stuff, it almost feels like an online game, really in that way. But I just remember the con, though. The biggest con for me is I don't like you get weapons, random weapons, like loot drop stuff, but they're from the same 4 chests every time, and you're like, okay, now it's the next phase, and I'm going to go back to that same chest and open it up again. Hey, there's something else in it. That's a semantic, but it's just kind of weird. Like, I'd rather have, like, random little, like, chests show up, and then, like, the same chest I keep going back over to. I don't know.
It works out because here's another way to look at that. You're right. Between each round, they refill 4 same chests to give you more mana to build more stuff or loot. But the thing is, when we're playing cooperatively, like my girlfriend and I know, okay, the left 2 chests are yours, the right 2 chests are mine.
I know it's functional, totally makes sense. But for like when it comes to the
fantasy,
just the fantasy of it all. The other thing is that the weapons, a little confusing on what is the upgraded one and what isn't. Like I'm like, oh, I think this is better because that one's down negative and this one's up. And then the writing, they've got to fix that. The fonts. It's just everything's too big or something.
The UI is not that great. Yeah.
The UI, yes, it just feels so clunky. And then when I go to the store, it's the same thing. I see past it because the gameplay is so addictive. I'm like, I don't care what's going on here. This is confusing. Give me the thing I think I need, and I get out of here and I go.
It's worse than split screen, and it's hard. It's sometimes hard to tell.
Like, be terrible.
The symbol, it's like you'll say, "Oh, you get a +2 bonus on something," and you don't really know what it is.
Yeah, it's like this weird symbol of a donut, and you're like, great, I got donut power, +2.
Yeah.
And then even when you level up, it's like I leveled up a bunch of points in, and I didn't get to 1 yet, and then it goes, now you got 1. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-mm.
Maybe that's just me. Yeah. You seem to push the. It seems like when I'm leveling up those stats, I'm putting a bunch of stats in to just get one thing.
No, it should be 1 point.
Really?
You get 3 points per level up. You get to upgrade, and those give you 3 points per stat.
Right. There's some confusing stuff going on there.
It is confusing.
It doesn't even matter because I want to play it right now.
Worse than split screen for sure, but it's really addictive. It's really tough. So you do have to grind, and you have to eventually rely on that co-op stuff I said.
Yeah, yeah.
Like whether it's with a friend or
we're gonna
yourself.
have to play them.
But it's you will go back and grind, but it's fun. It's really fun to grind and get better at it.
I don't know what it was, and this is the last thing I'll say about it. I don't know if it was with your characters or not, but with the Squire, who I love, by the way, and kicks major ass when it comes to fighting, I can just go clean out areas, which is really cool.
The
Squire? Yeah. Squire, I don't know. Is that he starts out way slow. Does everybody start out way slow?
Yeah, but that's one of the stats.
I know it's one of the stats, but still, that's annoying. Because like that is really, you're like, I just need to get to that one area, and you're like trudging along.
They're all really slow, but you can upgrade that eventually.
Okay. So anyways, it's a get it for me without even a doubt.
Yeah, super get it.
Even with the weird like, oops. Even with the weird stuff, I had to have a beat every once in a while. Yeah, no, I think it's great. Get it. Get it. And I guess it's everywhere. So chat room is iPhone, Android, PSN, PC. Mm-hmm. Oh, and on the Steam one, even though it's past Halloween, there's some Halloween stuff. Right?
Yeah, it might be too late by the time the edited show gets aired, but they were having a Halloween special. It's like a free download with some Halloween themed gear for Steam users only.
Maybe they'll do Christmas for Steam. Just saying, there's an idea. All right, that's going to do it for the show. What are we going to do next week? What's happening?
Skyrim.
We're going to talk about Skyrim next week.
We should do that like in 2014 when we have time to finish the game.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. By next week.
That was a joke. I'm sorry. I was like, I didn't understand you were telling a joke. Also, the Gaijin Games, we went to Gaijin Games, and if you haven't seen the footage, it's here. There's a link. And you can go check it out and look at us at Gaijin Games. We had a fun time. You were not there.
Yeah, I had to miss it, unfortunately, but...
You didn't get to play the cool level that looked like stick figures, but it was really fun.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah, it was awesome. And on that note...
What are you doing?
Game over.